Hello everyone, welcome to Hopeful Moments 1. Today, we will share a story that highlights the ignorance and unpleasant attitude of some customers, while also showcasing the patience and cleverness of the storyteller in handling the situation. Today's story will take you through a surprising situation. The revelation moment happened when the storyteller pointed to the logo on their sleeve, causing Karen to suddenly realize her mistake and change her expression. However, the situation became even more bizarre as Karen insisted on speaking to the manager and demanded the storyteller be disciplined. If you find this story interesting and full of valuable lessons, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful lessons. Karen tried to order pizza from me while I was eating pizza, then refused to believe I didn't work there. To give you a clearer picture, I work at a well-known bakery chain where the uniform consists of a blue polo shirt and khaki pants, with the company's logo embroidered on the sleeve. In stark contrast to my office style, on my way home, I usually stop by a small plaza near my bus stop, where there's a fantastic pizza place. The pizza place has a completely different uniform, with bright red t-shirts that look like fire truck color, and the logo covering the entire back, paired with black pants. Interestingly, although our uniforms are completely different, a situation occurred that I still can't explain. This story involves a few main characters: me, the storyteller, the pizza girl, PG, the pizza shop manager, M, and Karen, K, the customer with a very unique attitude. On a typical day, I had only slept 3 to 4 hours, quickly ate a cheese croissant, and had coffee in the morning. After a shift from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. without any time for lunch, I had to admit that I was very hungry. Hungry to the point that I didn't care about still being in my work uniform. I just wanted to eat something to fill my empty stomach. So, I decided to stop by the pizza shop I frequent, grab a delicious slice of pizza, a cold Mountain Dew, and a cookie to go, then sit down and enjoy as a happy customer. The pizza shop was quiet, with only the soft music and the sound of footsteps on the floor. I was enjoying the peaceful atmosphere, with no worries except for savoring the food and giving myself a moment of peace after a long day of work. I put on my headphones and scrolled through my phone while enjoying the meal, while the staff quietly disappeared behind the counter. But then, everything changed when Karen walked in. About a minute later, the door opened and Karen walked in. The shop was still quiet, with only me sitting alone, relaxing after a stressful day at work. The staff was busy in the kitchen, not paying attention to what was happening outside the counter. The pizza shop maintained its calm atmosphere, with only soft music playing from the speakers and the occasional sound of pizza being baked. I just glanced at Karen briefly as she entered, then turned back to my phone screen, thinking nothing of it. Sure enough, I thought she would go to the counter and place an order, like any normal customer. But no, I was wrong. While I was still distracted by my pizza, I suddenly felt a cold, condescending stare from beside me. When I looked up, I saw Karen standing right next to my table, staring at me with a look of judgment and disdain, a look that only people like Karen can give. She didn't say anything immediately, just silently looked at me, as though I was guilty of something. The atmosphere in the shop suddenly became tense, as if a storm was about to break out. I could feel my heart racing, but I tried to stay calm, simply turning back to look at her naturally, then continuing to sip my drink and scroll on my phone as if nothing was happening. Then she spoke, her voice halting and somewhat spiteful. "Excuse me, can you help me?" I took out one earbud, lowered the volume of the music, and looked at her, feeling like I was about to enter an unavoidable conversation. Not understanding what was going on, I simply responded, "What can I help you with?" She paused for a moment, as if thinking about something, then started, "I want to order a meal." At this point, I still didn't realize what was happening, thinking she just wanted to order like any other customer. But then I quickly noticed something strange. She was staring at me without taking her eyes off me, and her expression was becoming more and more serious, as if I was part of her growing frustration. Taking an earbud out and lowering the volume, "Can I help you with something?" "Kay, hello, I want to order a pizza." Starts listing her order. I, quickly realizing, "Oh, sorry, but I don't work here." Kay pauses as if this information is too difficult to accept, and in the end, she cannot comprehend it. Kay, first of all, don't interrupt me, that's very rude. Secondly, that's a uniform. This is a store. I know you work here, so don't give me that attitude. Karen's reasoning completely stunned me, and it seemed to show on my face. I looked at her, not understanding what she was saying, feeling like everything around me was spinning. She just stood there, staring at me with such determination, as if everything she said was undeniable. And then, without letting me react, she widened her eyes in shock, her gaze piercing through me, and started criticizing me with a series of angry words. "Do you know where you are? Such terrible work ethics are unacceptable. You wear headphones while working, and you ate the customer's food? Unbelievable!" She continued, each word like a bullet shooting straight at me. I couldn't understand how someone who had no connection to the situation could be so irrationally angry. And to top it off, she added that I had made a huge mistake, because she was a regular customer of the shop and had enough influence to get me fired. I was stunned. If she really were a regular, surely she'd know what the shop's uniform looked like, right? But all I could do was stand there, confused and dumbfounded, feeling a bit foolish. It was ridiculous. Amidst my confusion and bewilderment, a thought flashed through my mind, and I remembered the embroidered logo on my sleeve. Without saying a word, I slowly turned my arm and pointed to it so she could clearly see. Karen paused, her gaze briefly scanning the logo on my arm. I could see the color drain from her face, her earlier confidence abruptly vanishing. But I'm a bit mischievous, and I couldn't resist the opportunity to add some sarcasm. I looked at her nonchalantly and said, not too gently, "See this? Company name. What's the name of this place again?" With my pointed question, I could feel the atmosphere change drastically. Karen stood frozen for a moment, as if trying to process the information, while I simply sat back, showing no sign of confusion or concern. And then, in less than 2 seconds, an actual staff member came out from behind the counter, looked at Karen, and calmly asked, "Is there a problem, ma'am?" I sighed in relief, thinking this would finally end right there. But I couldn't help but quietly smile inside because I knew that Karen had made a huge mistake that she wouldn't easily escape from. The feeling of satisfaction and the joy of not letting her bully me made this moment even sweeter. Yes, there is a problem. Your coworker was extremely rude to me. Yes, Karen was still insisting that I worked there. The pizza girl looked at me and realized I was the one she had just served. Ma'am, she doesn't work here. Don't lie to me. I want to see the manager." The pizza girl went to find the manager, while Karen continued to glare at me with hostile eyes. I just sighed and kept drinking my water. Then, PG and the manager returned. Hello, what seems to be the problem? That girl refused to take my order and was extremely rude to me. You need to discipline her. Like PG, looks at me and knows I don't work for her. She doesn't work here, ma'am, but I can take your order if you'd like. Finally, after some pointless bickering, Karen seemed to realize how unreasonable her actions were and decided to move on, following the manager to continue placing her order. But even though she stopped bothering me, I could still hear her mumbling and complaining about me as she walked away, showing no sign that she would stop. Her words lingered in the air, making me feel like a shadow was haunting me from behind. I couldn't help but feel frustrated, but I chose not to let it affect my mood. With a relieved sigh, I turned around and began packing up my things. I told myself I would enjoy my dinner in peace, no longer facing the unreasonable anger of people like Karen. I grabbed the last slice of pizza, took a sip of water, and felt a sense of relief as I thought about heading home to my own space, a place where people like Karen wouldn't bother me. But just as I was about to leave, a gentle voice called out from behind. I turned around and saw PG standing there, holding a takeout bag. She smiled and handed it to me, saying, "This is a little apology for having to deal with Karen. And also, thank you for being one of the nicest customers we have." Her words really warmed my heart because, after all the stress and frustration, at least someone had recognized my patience and polite attitude. I took the takeout bag and felt like the weight of the long, tiring day had suddenly lifted. Inside, there was a delicious slice of pizza, a fragrant garlic bread, and a sweet cookie, small but meaningful gifts, a sincere thank you from her. The feeling of being appreciated made me smile genuinely, and I thought about this moment all throughout the next day. This story still makes me happy, even though it wasn't pleasant while it was happening. It was a moment that made me realize that sometimes, good things come from unexpected situations, and a little kindness can make everything better. As I walked out of the shop, gently turned, and listened to the air outside, I accidentally heard Karen's voice in the distance. She was demanding a free pizza, with an unpleasant tone. The sense of irony flooded through me again. I wondered if she would get her request fulfilled. But then I thought, at least everything would be okay for PG and her team. I hoped they would always maintain their professionalism and not let people like Karen affect them. As for me, I would enjoy my meal without anything bothering me. In the end, this story reminds us that in life, things don't always go as we want, and sometimes we have to face unexpected situations. Karen might have had a bad day, but her attitude and behavior are not things we should emulate. The lesson we can learn from this story is that we need to remain patient and maintain our dignity in every circumstance, even when faced with disrespect or unpleasantness from others. At the same time, kindness and understanding are always rewarded, just like in the case of PG, who showed empathy and gratitude toward a customer, even though it wasn't always easy. Ultimately, sometimes a small act, like a sincere apology or a thoughtful gesture, can bring joy and peace to ourselves and those around us. Continue to maintain a calm and patient attitude, for that is the greatest strength in tricky situations like this. Although Karen acted disrespectfully and made things difficult, the fact that you didn't let yourself get swept up in negative emotions was a big win. However, also remember that sometimes such situations are unavoidable, and when they arise, always maintain self-respect and don't let others' irrationality affect your self-esteem. You responded wisely by gently pointing out the truth, but if possible, try to establish clearer boundaries with those who don't know how to behave, so you can protect yourself more effectively. Remember, patience and kindness are always rewarded, and even though things may seem unfair at times, you still deserve respect and good things.